Hello and welcome to another weekly review for the week ending the 23rd of October. This is where I take a look at a mixture of what's been gleaned information-wise in the Star Citizen community from official sources and shows and the questions that they've answered. We had a new format in the form of 10 for the All-Stars, where a variety of CIG employees across multiple disciplines and roles answered questions. And the questions that they answered? Most of the planets and the star map stuff originates with the lore team. Ideas for ships come from various sources and are then vetted by Chris. The ship pipeline has gone through lots of changes since it first started, and the lore side is very similar to what it was originally, except now they have more writers. It's all very natural and it's all evolved organically. Ben and Chris have set a variety of new guidelines though to help guide them. They are looking at making the Ark star map into a phone app. The team is working almost 24/7 still, as their offices are across the world, even with that reshuffle moving employees around so they're more proximate to their colleagues that are working on similar projects. This concentration of disciplines and having people literally working in the same office on certain projects is great for efficiency. DataForge. So DataForge is how they integrate the XML files and stats into the game. So at the moment, it's going to replace their previous way of doing it called Stats Monkey, which literally just read XML files, those Excel spreadsheets basically, and dragged data from them to tell them in-game what certain weapons did. So it will tell you how much damage that weapon did, how fast it fires, that sort of stuff. With the open development process, even more so than most games, they have the backers in mind to some degree. And having that amount of players testing and giving feedback this early on in the process has a huge impact on the project. They talked about there'll be ways for players to try and avoid dangerous routes, areas and combat almost entirely, but you're unlikely to be able to completely avoid combat every time. But you could use contracts and the NPC system. You're going to be able to hire escorts and bodyguards. There's no need for you to pull the trigger yourself. There will be unique and cool brands that appear in the Star Citizen universe, so like shoe brands and clothing brands. They are also talking about their process a lot in this video for game mechanics, ship design and concepts throughout. It's a great format and a great video. It's worth watching if you want to see a deeper view into the Star Citizen process. Star Citizen Alpha 1.3 is off the PTU and onto the live servers. There is an FAQ and guide for the new chat system that I'll link in the description, but basically this adds a plethora of new things. The Hornet and the Cutlass have the ability to mount the new size 4 ballistic cannon, and those mounts are also included. You have to purchase them all through the Rec store or through the Voyager Direct store. There's some new size 2 mass drivers. The Sledge 2s have become size 1 again. There's a bundle of fixes, improvements, huge balance changes. All the weapons are basically new again and require all repairing and working out how they work. I'll link to the XML stats in the description as well, so you can have a look at them for yourselves. There's buggies in the social module, and this patch represents a huge merge of all the different modules merging together into one stream. So this framework will allow patches to come out a lot quicker and heralds the release of Alpha 2.0, the baby PU, which will be with us very, very shortly. More about Alpha 1.3 tomorrow in the news. In Around the Verse, Season 2, Episode 4, they told us the Sabre is going to be fast-tracked to get into the game as quickly as possible. The P-72 is being worked on. They referred to it as a racer, but that's just one of its possible roles. For certain, it's going to be faster and more luxury than the P-52. And they talked about it having 4 size 1 weapons. They are working on the radar system to make it give more accurate information. Ilphonic are working on a Friday the 13th game that's currently on Kickstarter. I'll chuck the link for that down in the description below for anyone interested. They are testing animations for Alpha 2.0, and they've pretty much finished the female locomotion sets. So we should see female characters in the game very soon, or at least shortly. Explosions and damage on ships are themed by their manufacturers, it would seem, as well. So explosions on a Constellation would be different to explosions you saw on a Retaliator, for example. The Frankfurt team are working on optimizations for the game. This is great news because the Frankfurt office are literally amazing. They are working on AI as well so that they can navigate around asteroids and obstacles more dynamically. This week's MVP is King Nerd for their realistic Star Citizen paper navigational maps. These are actually pretty cool, and I'd consider actually getting some printed up, as they just look quite fun. This week's sneak peek was the fantastic and slightly confusing to start with Xian, Styleboard, and Scout. So I have no idea how to pronounce that word. Every time I say it, someone says it different. Xian, Jan, Joyan, whatever. Just say it how you want it. And on Reverse the Verse, episode 68, we're going to load more information. On November the 19th through to November the 26th, there is going to be the anniversary sale. And on the 19th, there will be a live stream done by CIG over on Twitch. And there's going to be lots of interesting stuff on that live stream, and we'll get to see possibly some more gameplay footage. Some other stuff might be given into our hands. There will be 20% off most physical goods for the duration of that anniversary sale, and there will be limited ships available too, so you might be able to get your hands on a 350R, for example, as well as a Sabre or whatever else you might be after. And there may even be a new ship on sale. The Prowler is starting its creation process next week. The automated unmelt system is still in the works. It will be done when it can be, but soon, or in the future, we will be able to unmelt our own ships on our accounts. If you've purchased lots of ships, or you want to grab an LTI ship that you've melted previously, like a Vanguard that you may have melted. There's going to be virtual reality in Star Citizen, but there's no ETA currently. So, Connies in the Persistent Universe, or Constellations, they're just going to have the base constellation to start with, and then they'll work on the variants in the future for the baby PU. They're currently pushing for 40 players to be in any one instance of the Alpha 2.0. They're not sure what they are at right now, but they're aiming for 40 at launch. So in the future, there may be the possibility to play as alien races. It's something they're consider post-launch, though. No promises at the moment. In 2.0 Alpha, you may receive either a Constellation or a Retaliator as a loaner ship based on the value of your larger ships. But you will be able to rent them with REC just by playing the game anyway. The Crucible is a relatively large ship. Its repair bay, for example, is large enough to fit a Hornet or a Gladiator. There will be animals in Star Citizen, and in fact, space pets were a stretch goal. The first drop of Star Citizen Alpha 2.0 is basically going to be what we saw at CitizenCon. So it's going to be flying around, some missions, some first-person shooter combat, a bit of multi-crew, but there's not going to be many professions available, really, other than piracy and fighting each other at the moment. They will add mining and salvage and all the other professions and mechanics as they become available directly into this baby PU. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. For more information on the live release of Star Citizen Alpha 1.3, Star Marine, Alpha 2.0, as well as some other headlines, please check out our Star Citizen news tomorrow. Thanks very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help me, and I'll see you in the verse.